Okay, so I hope she takes this. I've tried to copy and paste what I have on this poster into a Word document and then upload it into the discussion board. I've been at it for about an hour. I don't know what's wrong with my computer, but for whatever reason, it's not working. So Professor Jean has been pretty lenient on the grading, and she's been fair for the most part for this 4-week class. So what I decided to do was to print the poster and just set it on my computer and just go from there. So here it is. So my topic for the discussion my topic for the research of the behavior that I was doing was cutting less television out and exercising more. And I chose this topic because I feel like obesity is a major problem that we have in our country, not only for children, but adults as well. And for children, kids don't have, they're happy-go-lucky, and, they don't really worry about their health until something happens to them. For adults, obesity can lead to a number of things, such as diabetes and stroke, heart failure, and so on and so forth. And so I feel like this is a major problem that we have in our country. So I wanted to do a study of how someone's behavior would change if they cut out a certain amount of television that they watch and exercise more. Even if they just cut out, if they watch 4 or 5 hours of TV a day, and they cut out 2 hours of that, and exercise for an hour and a half, how their behavior would change and how they would feel. So my study was over a 31-year-old female. She was my participant that I did my research study over, and she was, like I said, she was 31 years old. She was about 375 to 400 pounds, like 5'7". She's an entrepreneur. So her line of work doesn't require for her to do a ton of movement, a ton of activity. So the purpose of the study was to conduct a research plan on a participant of how their mood and behavior changed over the duration of time when they were watching less TV and exercise more. So for her, the first couple of days, she was real groggy, real tired, just because, wasn't used to the exercise, wasn't used to, the activity. So the first couple of days, she was really, really sore, but she made it through. She exercised more and watched less TV. Now, it was hard. It was harder, of course, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and so we had to use our resources, and we had to improvise and make do with what we could. The implications for the future, our future research on the study would include a reduced amount of television watched. It would also include that exercising will be a natural thing and will be more of a lifestyle change because of the benefits it can have on one's life. So basically, we felt like if this is something that you do and you make it a habit, then this is something that can become a part of your life and not something that you put off. This is something that, will be a regular thing for you on a daily. In regards to method, me, the researcher, I kept a daily log of the steps walked. She reported back to me on days that I wasn't able to go with her to the YMCA or, to the gym. So she reported back to me on like the number of calories burned. If she was walking at the YMCA, and I wasn't with her, she reported back to me on the number of steps, her food intake, and then the amount of television that she watched over a duration of time. That gave her a clear image and a picture of what she is doing over the time of the study. It helped us keep track of the outcome of where she was at the beginning and where she ended up being at the end of the study. We end up doing a bar graph with the days of the week of the participant that she exercised along the x-axis, and then along the y-axis we included the number of minutes that she exercised. My hypothesis at the beginning of the study that I guess was would be at first the participant would be very, very sore, very, very groggy and against exercising, which she was. And then as we got going and she got motivated, and the more the participant exercised, it became more of a natural habit. Even in the short 4-week span, it was included more in her daily plans and it wasn't put off. Background, like I said before when I was starting the video, obesity in America is a major problem for younger children and even adults. In our society, obesity can create a lifestyle in which sometimes people can become comfortable with themselves because everything is easier. So basically, when I put that in there, I feel like, sometimes when people go through certain things, they end up, whether it be stress or, death in the family or, something at their workplace or, a relationship or whatever, it's sometimes it can be easier to, just eat or snack on something, and one thing could lead to another. When it comes to the expected results, we expected that as the study is being conducted, the participant will exercise more and watch less television. Once the participant gets into the flow and creates a habit of exercising for an hour a day. In regards to limitations, I don't really know if there are any limitations, but I included that limitations in this study would include that it's a single study subject design. The limitation was to reduce the amount of television watched over time by 4 hours a day, so that sometimes could lead to more exercising and meal preparation. But in regards to like limitations, I didn't, as we were doing the study, I didn't really know if there were any limitations. I felt like, during the exercising at the gym or, walking around the local Earlywine YMCA park, I didn't feel like there were any limitations, because I feel like the more that you move, the more that you exercise, the more calories that you burn, and the better the outcome will be. One of the things that we did, that I did like at the end of the first week of the study, is I included a incentive program. I felt like at the beginning of the study, the participant was very, very, like I said, groggy, didn't really have a ton of interest in doing it. So the first couple of days was very, very tough, and I've included that in the baseline data. So what I did was I included an incentive program, and basically what that meant was if she met a certain goal, whether that be steps or calories burned or the amount of TV she watched, we came up with something to, we came up with something to not surprise her, but prize her. Something that she can look forward to. If she did this, it's kind of like kids playing sports. You compete in games, and if you win the tournament or you win the game, you get a trophy. And so we came up with an incentive program. That way she could have something to look forward to. And I think once we did that, we ended up getting better results, and the outcome of the whole study was better. Overall, the first couple of days of the study was very, very rough. Like I said, she's very groggy, didn't feel like moving a whole lot. Her being an entrepreneur didn't require for her to do a lot of movement and activity. But I feel like as time went on, she was more active. You could see the change in her behavior as the time went on. I didn't really have to, beg her or, to get up and get moving so I can finish the study. I felt like this was something that she enjoyed doing, and we helped each other. Like I said, I helped her throughout this study, and the motivation, and she helped me in regards to academics and helping with classes and papers being written. So I can only hope that Professor Jean accepts this. Like I said, I couldn't figure out a way to copy and paste this into the discussion board, so I figured it was just best to print it, set it up against the computer, put the phone on the screen and on the paper, and go from there.